You won't believe how out of control this situation has become. Over the past couple of weeks, DJ Akademiks has seemed completely locked in on Roc Nation and Jay-Z. And honestly, the non-stop posts have had people wondering what's really going on. I'm not even kidding. I actually started thinking his main X account had somehow been taken over by the same person running the Akademiks TV page because the tone felt completely different. Either that, or Akademiks himself accidentally forgot which account he was posting from. Ever since Jay-Z appeared to throw shots at Drake during his freestyle at the Roots picnic, Akademiks and a large group of Drake supporters have gone into full attack mode, pushing criticism toward Jay-Z and Roc Nation, just like they have with nearly everyone else who publicly challenges Drake. Of course, the backlash toward Jay-Z didn't suddenly begin with that freestyle, but it definitely poured gasoline on a fire that was already burning and became the breaking point for many Drake fans. What makes this entire situation even more surprising is that Drake himself hasn't been reacting anywhere near the way some of his supporters have. In fact, the only real response we've heard came through Mal, who claimed Drake was simply joking about Jay-Z's hairstyle rather than escalating the feud himself.
So I think it was halftime or something. So I look at my phone and I see text from Drake, and I'm just reading it, and I'm like, okay, so he did, which we all said was probably going to happen. Won't get into what our conversation was from there.
He said, "Nigga, get your uncle."
No, he didn't say that. But
that's so great. He's talking to Drake during this. I'm next to Biggs on the riser. I chose the side.
Oh
no, but
I'm with Biggs.
But the whole thing,
Biggs is on the riser with us.
I don't know what's happening. So everything that we talking about, I don't even know what was said. So he was picking out certain things that he said. But the one thing that Drake said was like, "Yo, but."
Ever since that moment, something interesting has stood out. Drake himself hasn't released a diss track aimed at Jay-Z. He hasn't gone on any interview attacking him, and he hasn't jumped on social media to keep the feud alive. Even so, many of Drake's most vocal supporters seem convinced that Jay-Z's Roots Picnic freestyle, along with everything else he's doing this summer, could pull attention away from Drake's upcoming Iceman album. Because of that, they've been coming after Jay-Z and practically anyone seen backing him. Then, on June 20, DJ Akademiks posted on X, writing, "Just a reminder, we know how y'all OGs move. The jig is up. No lawsuits are going to scare fans or stop people from speaking the truth and keeping it real about y'all. Jay-Z and his circle got lawsuits mentioned on fan pages. Nasty work. They're trying to sue Barb's, Tory Lanez, and Drake fans, then wonder why Jay-Z's approval rating is at an all-time low. It's starting to make sense. Only one group moves like this. Same play they tried on Akademiks TV. They're trying to intimidate independent journalists and fans who aren't buying into their circus." Now hold on for a second, because that's where this gets hard to ignore. Calling Akademiks TV an independent journalism platform is a pretty wild claim, and you really can't slide that into the conversation expecting people not to raise an eyebrow.
Gotta do. Y'all could take the gloves off. I'm not gonna stop y'all from posting anything about Charlamagne. Normally, there's no Charlamagne slander allowed on my page. My friends don't get slandered on my page, period. And sometimes, I've talked to them at length when I'm like, you know what, that's my homie. Like, they've posted something about Cardi B one time. I'm like, yo, that's my gang. Stop playing. Okay? And for them, it was just it was a good post. Like, it wasn't even nothing malicious. It was just like, I was like, no, that's Cardi. And I'm a little biased for Cardi. I got to keep it being. In all of the agendas for Akademiks TV or otherwise, none of it says just hate Charlamagne. Akademiks TV loves Iceman. Akademiks TV basically is counteracting a lot of Roc Nation propaganda for the truth in all these situations when it comes to hip-hop media.
Then, just 4 days later, things took an even crazier turn. After Billboard ranked Jay-Z's Roots Picnic freestyle at number 8 on its list of the 50 best songs of 2026 so far, DJ Akademiks completely exploded online. Speaking for myself, I don't think that freestyle deserved to land that high either. If you ask me, a freestyle that isn't even available on streaming platforms probably belongs somewhere around the late 30s or even the 40s. But here's the thing, this is Billboard we're talking about. Every major publication puts together controversial rankings, and if we're being honest, a lot of those lists are designed to spark debates and rack up engagement. Complex does it every year, Billboard does it, and plenty of other outlets follow the exact same formula. Instead of directing his frustration toward Billboard's rankings, though, Akademiks once again pointed the finger at Jay-Z and Roc Nation. He posted that while Jay-Z was allegedly involved in investigations surrounding smear campaigns tied to fan pages, Billboard somehow rewarded what he called a weak freestyle with one of the year's top hip-hop placements. He went on to claim Roc Nation was trying to manipulate public opinion, accusing them of pushing propaganda, controlling narratives, labeling criticism as smear campaigns, and even suggesting the company was using influence to protect its image. Then he doubled down by saying several well-known voices in hip-hop media were being paid to promote Roc Nation's talking points, arguing that none of those narratives had actually convinced the audience and that fans were simply laughing at the effort. He even mocked those personalities by saying if they're really on the payroll, they better start getting better results before Jay-Z replaces them, because according to him, Jay only cares about results. As if that wasn't enough, Akademiks circled back to criticize the freestyle itself, calling it terrible and accusing Roc Nation of trying to control authentic hip-hop conversations through lawsuits and influence. From there, he shifted his attention to Charlamagne, saying it disappointed him to watch someone he once respected repeat what he described as Roc Nation messaging, while giving Joe Budden credit for supposedly staying independent despite his admiration for Hove. At that point, the entire rant started feeling less like criticism and more like a full-scale conspiracy theory. The biggest question for me is whether Akademiks genuinely believes everything he's saying, or if he's simply leaning into the controversy because he knows it'll keep people talking. After Akademiks TV faced criticism from people who claimed it operated like a pro-Drake platform and pushed narratives against Drake's rivals, it's hard not to wonder if this latest outburst is his way of saying that if his side gets accused, then everyone else must be doing the exact same thing. It's almost like a game of hide-and-seek where the first person caught suddenly starts pointing out every other hiding spot just so nobody gets left out. That's honestly the vibe this whole situation gives off. The underlying message seems to be that if people believe he's connected to Drake and OVO, then surely everyone defending Jay-Z must secretly be connected to Roc Nation too. But that logic doesn't really hold up when you stop and think about it. What exactly qualifies as a Roc Nation talking point in the first place? Charlamagne has openly respected Jay-Z for years, just like Joe Budden, Ebro, and several other personalities have, so none of this is exactly new. They're not out here trying to convince fans that Jay-Z is flawless or the greatest artist alive. That's why it's a little strange to expect those same media figures to suddenly attack Jay-Z publicly when Akademiks himself has never shown any interest in turning against Drake. Nobody seriously expects Akademiks to flip on Drake, so expecting New York media personalities to completely abandon Jay-Z doesn't seem very realistic either. Then, to make things even more interesting, Charlamagne appeared at Roc Nation's Jay-Z pop-up event last night and took a moment to throw what many people saw as a subtle jab at Akademiks. And trust me, that reaction only added another layer to an already wild story.
Taylor, where we at right now?
In the Jay-Z's pop-up shop.
Okay. Out of door merchant here, right?
Yep.
See if my employee discount works. See if my Roc Nation employee discount works.
At the end of the day, here's how I see it. If Jay-Z isn't your favorite artist, that's completely fair. You don't have to stream his music or support everything he does. But spending this much time trying to tear down his legacy just because you're defending another rapper feels way over the top. Nobody is saying Jay-Z is flawless. Like every major figure in hip-hop, he's made mistakes, and there have definitely been moments that deserved criticism. The NFL partnership sparked plenty of debate, and the recent Target controversy also gave people a reason to question some of his decisions. But when it comes to his impact on hip-hop, his catalog, and everything he's accomplished over the years, that's history you simply can't erase, no matter how many posts get made online. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about DJ Akademiks calling out Jay-Z, Roc Nation, Charlamagne, and several other media personalities who have publicly shown support for Jay? And what was your reaction to Charlamagne's response? Was it just harmless trolling, or do you think it sent a much bigger message? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is definitely far from over.